Come on. That is the Nissan not starting up today. Alright, plan B, we're just gonna need to, first of all, get the rattle gun out of the toolbox, whack it on the Kubota, and I need to find some sockets because we've had a couple of issues. I have no idea what dies we're gonna need, so I'll just take these three here for starters. G'day everyone, my name is Noah and you're watching TJM Farming here on YouTube. We are a West Australian wheat and sheep farm on the banks of the Moore River in WA. Let's skip all that ramble on and on nonsense because we got stuff to do today. I wasn't expecting to start filming a video today because I was just hoping to get the rest of the rolling done, and today's video was supposed to be whacking the new points onto the combine and testing it out. However, the tractor has got a couple of problems. So last video you would have joined us in the Johnny, otherwise known as our only main workhorse tractor, the 7810. It's a 29-year-old machine. It was built in 1997, top of the range model. Pop bought it brand new, and it's been with us for the entirety of its working life, and it's probably going to spend another 30 years with us. Because, well, we really can't afford another tractor to replace this or anything like that. 29 years of service this tractor has seen so far. It's going to celebrate its 30th birthday or build day next year. And the front right fender, you can see over here, has got a bit of a problem. Let's go over to the front left fender just for an example, just so you can see. You got this bracket here which holds it onto the front axle and the final drive for the front wheel assist, and then you've got this arm that comes over here and this arm that restrains it at the top with these, they kind of look like rivet bolts up the top here and then also down here. That's how the fender comes on and off. Now for this one, you can see that arm right there, that is clean sheared off, meaning that the fender is now all over the shop like that. I was literally hoping to just start this video by saying we got this paddock all leveled and all the rocks flattened. Well, pretty much we've just got a triangle left there, literally just a couple of up and backs and we would have been done, but no, the tractor had other ideas. So let's get this fitted to the rattle gun and let's get these bolts off. Well, that's one bolt off anyway. Put that in there. There we are, one, and that's two. Right, so taking those bolts out. Now that's completely off. This part here, I need to try and get those bolts slided off. I think I may need to turn the tractor on, just briefly, and turn it left so that we can get those bolts out. Just like that, there we go, a couple of wriggling, and those bolts have now come free. Now, just get that one bolt out of there. There we go, that's come out. Now, we can lift that entire fender off. Put that on the back here. Where did those bolts go? Bugger it, I lost them. Found them. Right, put those bolts back into here. I think they go down there. Yeah, the wear marks show where they were. Because those bolts, they're all right. Just screw them back into here real quick. Very important that when you take bolts like these ones out, you got to put them back on. That's 2. Right, rattle gun out of there. Now we need to take the sheared part off. So what you couldn't see in that other clip was, it's these bolts right here. That one is still on the thread a little bit. So, no. Put that to neutral so he can't run away. And that one is bloody stiff. So what I may need to do, that looks like that's got that spacer in there, and then we also got to take these bolts here out as well to take that part off, because that looks like that's been warped. It's gonna look a little bit off with just the one fender, but if it works, it works. Really, all we'd really need to do is just bend this back into shape. That's best case scenario. Or worst case scenario, we could always find a second-hand part online or something for that. Yeah, I'll get this part off. Wow, that was a really quick fix. Yeah, once the bolt, I think it was this one here, once this bolt came out, you can see the sheared part. I think this is cast iron. Once that came out, the rest was all really straightforward, and now you can get a really good look at the bracket here. And it's lucky that I filmed taking it off and putting it back on again. If not, if I forget, we could always look at this one for reference. So how these fenders are held on, you've got these 15/16 inch bolts, and then it's got a spacer in the middle, and it's got the nut on the end here. And you've got 2 of those up here that holds this on, and then you've got another one there and another one there, and I do believe it's got little bolt holes and stuff for different positioning on how you want your fenders. I suppose it really depends on your tyre size and stuff as well. But that's job done for now. We've got the fender on the back. We'll take it down the shed and put it in storage under cover, and then we can work out what we're gonna do on how we're gonna get that part to fit together with this part. Job done. The fender and all its bits are away in the shed now. We're gonna pull up for lunch and make sure Benny Sue gets some water, and then we'll jump back in the tractor and complete the job we started this morning, rolling the house paddock. And then this afternoon we could possibly go out and roll some of the firebreaks and bull paddock, just to make it a little bit smoother when the sheep come home, because the side-by-sides have a tough time getting over those firebreaks. And now that fire season is pretty much over, we can get it all leveled and sorted out to make our life easier in winter time, moving sheep in and out of the sheep yards over there. Right, we're back from lunch. Fender's off. Swecker in C1. And let's do some more rolling. I'll make sure that it's actually pointing down at the roller this time, because I know the footage from last week's video was not that great. Get this final triangle done, and we'll see you when we're moving on. over those one more time. And I think that's basically us done. Literally didn't take too long at all to do. I think we were only in the tractor for about an hour and a half or so. But this is the smallest paddock I think we've got on the farm. It's barely over a hectare. But no, I haven't even done all of it because we've still got the sprayer and the combine, the plough and the truck over there from when we were in evacuation mode. Yeah, that's good. That is very promising. So what we're going to move on to now is we'll go over into bull paddock, start rolling some of them fire breaks. Now I've got to be cautious about that because well, it's a mixed bag in terms of soil types in that paddock, from our understanding anyway. The whole farm is sand over gravel. It's just most of it, as you probably could tell by now if you've watched a couple of videos of mine, most of it is the white, really boggy stuff. Now this is the tough shit through here. A lot of rocks, a lot of tree roots. Really looking forward to getting all this smoothed over. There's a lot of it's love grass too. I've been having a challenging time of love grass lately. There's a bit of it's sand there. We're going to pull up briefly. Pull up briefly, turn the tractor off, because I need to go turn off the bore for a second, because the concrete tank's no doubt full. Good excuse to go grab the Terios, because I've had the Terios waiting here all week. Really quick test to see what the roller's done over here. Yeah, that's leveled it nicely. Not all the way, it takes a couple passes, especially with the love grass and the furrows, but that is good, that is satisfactory. Right, so the concrete tank's full. We're just going out to the bore now. Good opportunity to go and find out where the sheep and 2 cows are. See how they're doing. They normally like to hang out again. Yeah, there's the 2 cows. They like to hang out this end of the paddock because the cows want to go back out the west end. That's their home, I guess. I'm not sure where the sheep are. Yeah, it's been bizarre because we've been finding goat or sheep tracks or something on this side of the fence when they should all be in there. Yet, from our understanding, all the sheep are indeed accounted for. So, I'm not sure if it's the wild goats in the river reserve area coming up here trying to hunt for a feed or what it is. As for the reason why I'm focusing on the rolling over here and not so much racetrack paddock is really because I can't get out there because of the amount of fire vehicles and stuff going up the farm track. And we did have some visitors with their 5 Prados come out a couple of weeks ago for some kind of land survey, I guess you could call it. I told them not to go on the farm track. They went on the farm track, and now it's all cut up to the point where the journey with the Terios to get from here out to the west end normally takes about 10 minutes. Last time I tried to go out there, it took me 25. And that's the Terios. That's one of the quickest vehicles that can get over that sand because the petrol ones, they can go a bit faster. So that gives you a general idea that the farm track is insanely cut up. So until a big rain comes, we've just got to let that track rest. We've got to let it settle. because if we go over that too many more times, it's just not going to be very good. It's just going to make even more of a mess than it already is. Hence the reason why we're staying out the east end. Right, we're into bull paddock now. She's a bit rough and tumble here. That's because these firebreaks are rough and tumble. The more we drive over this, the roller the flatter it will be, the smoother it will be for us to drive on it later on. That's what we need. I apologise if the video is a bit shaky. Rough as guts in the tractor at the moment. But we've made it a full lap now. Crunch, that's a satisfying sound for the gravel rock. Yep, this is pretty much what it's going to be like the next couple of hours. So yeah, I think I'll just go up and back along this firebrake in particular, just to smooth this out a bit. Right, so I just pulled up because it looks like there's something catching somewhere on this. That could cause it. Yeah, that chain's been dragging. Not particularly ideal. I'm not even sure what those chains are for. Whether they're meant to be recovery points or what they are. Right. Otherwise, I've gone up and back a couple of times. It's been rough as guts in the tractor. As I said, I want to figure something out to actually make that window shut for once, because we've not been able to do that. Probably because of these fucking wiring harnesses. They get too fat and then get caught. Maybe I just need to put an extender thing on that latch. No, it's not shutting at all now. We'll give it one more go, and then, well, I'll put the camera down for now. You'll probably see the next part of the video, which will most likely be tomorrow unless something else happens today. And I'll just keep going. Right, hello, welcome to Monday. We are right at the end of March at the time of recording this. And since you've last seen us, well, nothing really much has happened in the way of farm work. I have been feeding hay out to the sheep and cows. They've been all good, and we've checked the west end. Happy to report that from Cyclone Derail, we got a total of 30 mils of rain and not much actual damage from the cyclone itself. The cyclone went and pissed off out inland into more of the eastern wheat belt, that type of area. We're out by the combine today because we've got to address something that has been brewing over the past couple of weeks that every man and his dog knows about by now, especially in Australia. If you're living under a rock, well, it's a bloody fuel and fertiliser crisis. And I'm calling it a crisis because that's what it fucking is. I don't care how many times the politicians in Canberra try to say nothing to see here. There is a bloody problem and they're ignoring it. Thanks to President El Nacho's plan for Operation Epic Fury, the Middle East is in conflict again. What does this mean for the farm right here? Fuel, fertiliser. What do I mean by fuel? Diesel. What I mean by fertiliser, urea, which can also be used for particle board in construction. We need the diesel to run all of our machinery. That means both the tractors, both the 2 trucks, the side-by-sides, the utes, the loader, the dozer. Without diesel, our farm stops. We can't do anything. Sure, we could try and chase sheep around the sheep yards, but we can't chase them on foot halfway across the farm because, well, it'd take us all day to do that. And as for the fertiliser, urea, that's our nitrogen fertiliser. That mostly comes from natural gas. Without it, and without the facilities to produce it in Australia, we have to get it imported. And where is it imported from? Middle East. Now, our 3 plans for this year as of January were Project Racetrack, which requires a hefty amount of diesel from the dozer and the side-by-sides and the loader to go and clean all the shit up and put it in piles, and also actually flatten the earth for the racetrack itself to flatten it into a paddock. Spraying fertiliser onto the pastures to bulk the feed up for the sheep. Again, needs fertiliser, particularly our K-Start, so that's our potassium, our phosphorus, our nitrogen, and a couple of other trace elements that are good for the sand country here as well. And it also requires diesel to run the tractor that pulls the sprayer and the fertiliser spreader. And our third project, 120 hectares of wheat, barley and oats. It was going to be the biggest attempt at growing a crop down here that we had tried yet. We were going to bounce back bigger and better than ever and have a successful harvest. That's what we were hoping. Well, because of the diesel and the fertiliser shortage, not only can we not get the diesel and the fertiliser, we can't afford it. That makes our plans for this year pretty much derailed, or partially. As a business, it's important to make sure that we can be financially viable at the start, all throughout, and at the end of each year. Our business as a sheep and cropping farm is obviously sheep and cropping. What do both of those things need? Diesel and fertiliser, or some kind of fertiliser. Without it, yes, we can maybe pull through, but it will be a struggle bus. And quite honestly, it's already a shit show enough as is, thanks to the fire and the amount of repairs we've got to do to this place to make it functional again. We were really hoping that we could actually try and pull off a crop this year. I was hoping to do that because we've proven we could grow a crop, just didn't get to harvest it in time. And the stuff that we did get to harvest, well, that gives us our seed back for a hay crop. So the situation's looking pretty bloody bad, all things considered, because everyone's staring down the same bloody situation of, can we afford to grow a crop this year? Some people are saying, well, we have to because of the interest rates. And the poor buggers that have to do that, they'd have massive overdrafts that they have to pay back to the bank at the end of every year, because regardless of whether you make a profit or not, whether you put in a crop or not, the bank is still going to come at the end of every year asking for his money back. Other people say, all right, we can still grow a crop, we'll just pull back. And then you got people like us, which are in the minority of farms that are actually barely keeping our heads above water, don't have an overdraft from the bank, and try to run their farms completely debt-free. Not because they don't want an overdraft. Yes, we don't want an overdraft, but we can't get one at the moment. We've tried. We really have. What do we do in this situation? With diesel at $3.29 per litre at the servo. Costs more to get a truck out here to deliver it. Well, unless something turns around and bloody fast, all of our plans are going to be derailed for this year. But let's not be so doom and gloom about it. What can we do in a bloody depressing situation like we are right now in Australia? Well, we can still go to work off farm. We can still go down to the pub and have a yarn with other people. And in our situation, what have we got? We've got 2 tractors that are able to work. We've got a seeder, we've got seed, and we've also got feed out the paddock. I'm happy to report that thanks to the 30 mils of rain that we've got, it's helping the cooch and lovegrass out the paddock to stay alive, and it's also encouraging the clover and ceradella and all the other natural pastures that we got on this place. It's starting to encourage them to come back. And we still got our sheep and we still got our cows. So looking at the positives, we might be okay yet. The plans for this year, yes, our original big, bold, better than ever plans, that's fucking derailed out the window. But what can we do? What's the new plan, Noah? We can still put a crop in because we got the 2.5 tons of oat seed. Again, we were supposedly donated 4 tons of seed from AGT Seeds out in Calabaron. However, contact with them has gone silent. Update on the seed situation, breaking news. This just in, for the seed, AGT has gotten in contact with us. The wheat is currently in Northam, barley is going to be in Mora. We are going to pick both of them up before the season gets really busy. And what we do on the whole cropping situation, I'll let you know when we get there. But with that 2.5 ton of oat seed, okay, we can't grow a very big crop for seed to sell to CBH, but we can grow hay. That is one thing that we have been very successful at last year, growing a hay crop. You can see it with the pile of bales that we've got over there. That was both from Liz and Peter's and ours. So what's our new plan going to be for cropping? We're dropping the 120 hectare plan. At best, we're just going to carry on, get by as much as we can. Before we can even think about hooking the tractor up to the combine and loading it up with seed and go plant something, we need to focus on getting our infrastructure back up to scratch. And I'm happy to report that we have officially locked in a date with Blaze Aid to come give us a hand with the boundary fence. Week after Easter, because the week after Easter, Dad's taking the week off. We're going to use that time to put the strainer posts in the ground with the tractor and the loader and get as much done as we possibly can. I won't be able to film all of it because I have to work. Again, now that I'm working off on a casual part-time kind of basis, I have to work in and out of the working hours to try and both help Dad with stuff on the farm and also make videos for you guys. Hence the reason why from this point onwards, videos are going to be very erratic on the upload schedule. I know I said I'm trying to keep it to a weekly basis, but right now there's just not enough content that I can openly show you. There's still a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I just can't show you that for obvious reasons. So hopefully I haven't rambled on and on for too long. I want to say thank you for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, please do remember to hit a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. Only about this percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed and stay to watch the videos. So if you find yourself watching more than one video around here and you want to support the channel, please do subscribe, it helps. We've hit 1.2k subscribers, so that means we are going to be doing a machinery tour. That is going to be very soon. Trademark. I don't know when that's going to be just yet, but we'll work it out when we've got a spare moment to do so. And if you really love the channel so much and you want to actually help us out big time with monetary support, no pressure or anything, you can join these legends, my combine croppers and the rookie farm hands. For a certain amount of bucks per month, you can help us keep the farm running and pay the bills so we can keep food on the table to keep ourselves fed while we try and keep the sheep and cows fed. And terrible analogy right there. I know I've been very slack on that lately and I do apologise. Please bear with us, guys. We're getting there. Thanks for watching and, well, try to say happy farming, people.